afternoon, Cameron University. The Student Government Association is starting the year with brand new officers and a brand new location. President Daniel Brown is here with us today to give us a sneak peek into what we can look forward to this year. Campus organizations may have a chance to apply for extra funds. Do you qualify? All this coming up next on This Week in SGA. In student government, students met in the brand new business building auditorium. The business building opened at the start of the semester, and the Student Government Association is the first organization to hold weekly meetings there. Not only did SGA meet in a brand new location, they met with brand new officers. Here to talk about future plans for the organization is President Daniel Brown. Hey Daniel, thanks for coming.
Not a problem.
We're really happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, before we get started into talking about your plans for student government this year, I have to ask, how do you like meeting in the new location?
I love it. Honestly, when I got the option to either keep meeting in the science complex or go to the new auditorium, I was iffy because I hadn't seen the auditorium yet, but the moment I walked in there, I called Zeke up and said we're definitely meeting here because it's a better feeling there. The atmosphere is it's nicer, it's classier, I guess you could say, and it's easier for the students to caucus about the legislation that's going on. It's more accessible. It's a great place. I'm glad we have it.
Awesome. So they gave you an option whether you want to meet in the own place or the new place?
Yeah, I got an email asking if I would rather meet there or in the science complex because there was a scheduling conflict with the science complex, and I was iffy about it, but as soon as I saw it, I was extremely happy.
Well, it looks great. Now, I understand that over the past couple of weeks, we've had filing for SGA, and something else very special is going on this week. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Indeed, there is. We had filing last week and the week before, and this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have elections going on for SGA senators. From 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the student union reading room. Just stop by there, show your student ID, and vote for senators to get elected in so we can get the ball rolling.
Awesome. Well, as you know, this year enrollment is up on campus. Has that had any impact on SGA this year so far?
It has had a major impact, and I'm really glad the enrollment's up like that because first off, it's making campus really exciting because there's so many people around. Second, I've had over 20 freshmen file for SGA senator positions, which in the long run means I'm going to have people with more skill and more talent behind them when they become seniors rather than having some new faces constantly. I'm going to have a better base to start from whenever I leave here.
Great. For officers in SGA, a new year with new members means going over mock legislation and teaching parliamentary procedure. It also means evaluating the budget and future expenses. Our CUTV crew attended this week's meeting and got the scoop. Take a look. There were many new faces in attendance at the Student Government Association meeting Monday night. This week was the organization's second meeting of the year, and they are already hard at work. New members must learn parliamentary procedure, so President Daniel Brown focused much of this meeting to practicing mock legislation. Students were able to see how the legislative process worked by asking questions to the author, voting, and even going into mock debate. President Daniel Brown believes that after a few more rounds of mock legislation, SGA members will be ready to work on real legislation. The organization has already produced a list pages long of ideas they have to better the university. In addition to legislation, Treasurer Elijah Morlett provided an in-depth look at the student government's budget for the 2009-2010 school year. SGA uses their allotted funds to travel to student government conferences during the year. Conferences allow their members to grow and learn so they can improve their organization and the campus. Treasurer Morlett also discussed the distribution fund budget, which may serve as a valuable tool for many organizations on campus. Distribution funds are given to student organizations who request financial assistance for events.
This money is used to give out to organizations so that they may use it to maybe improve themselves, the campus, and the students. Examples of this would be hosting an educational event for the campus, or possibly going to a leadership retreat or academy of some sort for members of the organization.
Organizations who wish to apply for distribution funds must meet certain requirements and go through an application process.
There are certain requirements that must be met, such as that the organization must have a active representative in SGA. They cannot miss more than so many meetings. The event has to be to the benefit of themselves and the university and the students.
Okay.
So they would just come to the SGA office and grab an application. From there, there's a meeting they would have to have with the finance committee to speak on why they believe they need the money, and then it'll get approved, yes or no, to a certain amount set by the Finance Committee.
Organizations will be able to apply for distribution funds after late September. Organizations must apply 30 days before the funds are needed and can only apply for a certain amount, which would be determined by the Finance Committee. And that's the story for This Week in SGA. For more information on the distribution fund, contact Elijah Morlett in Student Government Office in the Student Activities Building. I'm still here with President Daniel Brown. Now, judging from that story, it looks like you had a pretty good meeting. What are some of the things you did to prepare?
Well, first off, this summer the executive officers and I got together and just came up with a game plan, what we wanted to get started and what we wanted to keep going with student government, got the office organized, and just wanted to make sure that we're always there for anybody, any senators, anybody who has questions. So usually if you stop by the student government office, you'll find somebody there. Me, for instance, I pretty much live there right now, so I'm always in there, but the main thing to get this school, the year off successfully is we wanted to plan to make sure we had things in order to get things going right and just make sure we're going to have legislation going on. So that's one of the things we did was brainstorm, which is what we are also doing over the summer, brainstorming for brainstorming. So it's just, we just want to get things as organized as we could to get things going smoothly.
So you mentioned that brainstorming, and I understand that you guys put together a list at your first meeting of different ideas that the members have about legislation that might hit the floor this year. Could you talk to us a little bit about some of those?
I can indeed. We actually got a great list of ideas. There were some, of course, goofy ones, some that are a little unreasonable, but there are also some great pieces of possibility of legislation in the list. There's ranging from resolving parking issues. Like there's a couple of people actually mentioned possibly building a parking garage. I know that smoking on campus is going to be another issue, and it ranges from the parking, the more healthy options on campus, more food choices. It's just there's a wide range to just go from. So I'm excited about that.
That is exciting. Now, do you have a special piece of legislation or an idea that you're particularly interested in?
I always have one special piece of legislation, which I have to ask somebody else to author for me, which is getting 24-hour visitation in the dorms. But there's also, I want to get the no smoking on campus, because seeing as how one of the new initiatives for Cameron is a healthier CU and a greener CU, I only would think that making it a healthier, as in smoke-free or restricting smoking, would help in making Cameron a healthier campus. And so that, and of course, as I do every year, the 24-hour visitation.
Awesome. So right now, members are practicing mock legislation. When will we see some real legislation hit the floor?
Real legislation will probably hit the floor in probably about 3 weeks, maybe about a month, because like next week we have President Ross coming to speak to us, and then we have I believe I'm going to get with Dr. Heflin about coming and giving a little crash course in parliamentary procedure, because he probably does a better job than I can do, and be able to answer questions better than I can, so that we can, because I know Parley Pro is one of the things that you learn as you go. It's harder to be just taught, but It's easier if you have somebody who really, really knows what they're going on. So, and we just need to get legislation written up. I know there's some people writing some right now, and I'm excited to get that out on the floor, but we just want to get the freshmen, everybody who's new, a chance to just get a brush up on Parley Pro before we throw something real at them.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Really appreciate having you. That's all the time that we have left today in our show. We would like you to tune in next week for election results, and be sure to check out CUTV on YouTube by searching CU Internet TV. So for everyone here this week at CUTV and for This Week in SGA, I'm Amanda Finch.